Everybody, I want to hear you. Let's go. Come on. One more time. Come on. I like it from Akka on guitar. I can't hear you. Break it down. I want to hear that. Let's go. Come on. Zoom. I want to hear the man. Hermano. Hermano. Zoom.
All right. A very good evening to everybody. And the 5th of June 2025. And this is how I welcome you to the Kremre on Today Ghana News TV. My name is Lawrence Apini. Yeah, boy, you can as well call me Nana K. And I will gladly respond to that. Maybe I will say maybe officially Akwaba. Thank you for joining us once again. I want to let you know that today we are here to discuss a very interesting topic. And you can join us live on Twitch, on satellite. We are streaming live on Facebook. It is Today Ghana News TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Today Ghana News TV. These are the associate channels. Baby, I will be with me. with an hour share to make your contributions or your suggestions known to us. Pine FM 93.5 in Achim, Pemeng, Eastern Region, Kings Radio in Accra, Jamframa TV, Rara, Oti Region, Sekina Information Center, Northern Ghana, Adelema Community Information Center, Nkwanta, Fans TV, Flau, in the Volta region. And then we are looking at a very interesting topic. And before we even start, today Ghana newspaper, your headlines be. So I just want to take a few moments to go check out some of the stories that make it headlines. When we come back, we continue with the show. Like I said. All right. So today Ghana news newspaper on that one, the Evening Tribune. It says Ghana earns $11 billion from gold export 1 month. In 1 month, this comes from Arthur Forsen. Very interesting. It means the initiative they took earlier or recently has really, brought a serious change in our economy. So the second one says resetting the nation, why national security must prevail. Honorable Akwesi Oponfosu. And often says that one is a lot. We also tackle that because currently, Special Prosecutor Office, they are coming up with a whole lot of issues, and we would like to delve in deeper to have a conversation on that. City to stabilize between 10 Ghana cedis and 12 Ghana cedis against dollar. President Mahama. Within the week, President Mahama also made certain comments on that, and according to him, he's making sure that it stays in between 10 cedis and 12 cedis. If not, exporters and importers will be in serious mess. So he personally will ensure that it doesn't go down too much. All right, so, and then these are some of the topics that make headlines in our newspaper. I would want to jump on straight and go to the conversation for today. But before then, I would like to introduce my guest for the day because already the time is far gone. I would just want to introduce him. I've got with me today the NPP team member, Mr. Wadud Kodima. He's an NPP team member in Germany. I'm also expected to be joined by the founder of the NDC Diaspora Network, that is Mr. Bennett Kunedu Yadom. If he joins, gentlemen, you're already here. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. Our time is already far gone, so I would like to just give you guys just one minute. Introduce yourselves. Then, if you have any person you wanna at least say hi to before we even proceed with the show, I will start with Mr. Wadu.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you are live.
A very good evening to our cherished listeners and viewers. Like you earlier said, my name is Wadud Kundima, communication team member for NPP Germany, and I'm glad to be on your show today, obviously, Mr. Lawrence.
All right, thank you so much. Then let me move straight to Mr. Bennett.
Yo, my brother, I thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here this evening. My name is Bennett Kunedu Yadom, founder of NDC Network. I've been a regular member of this panel, and I'm happy to be back again. And you're welcome. This is my first time meeting you here. I'm happy to see you. I take this opportunity to send a strong greetings back home to our president and party leadership of the NDC, and we can only hope for a very good discussion tonight.
All right, thank you so much. You can as well join us live on Facebook with your thoughts, comments, contributions, suggestions, opinions on the topics that we are about to discuss today. WhatsApp number is 026-533-4512, 5334512. When there is time, you bet me to be phone lines, that is 05948477712. So you can as well call and let us know your contributions or suggestions. I will just move on straight to my topic for the day. And it says, Ghana's sudden economic recovery, who takes the credit? This is the topic we are, looking at today. But before then, I would like to read something small before we even move to our guest. And this is coming from Professor Eric F. Otten Abbey. He says, Ghana's economic landscape in 2025 presents a striking paradox. The cedi has emerged as one of the world's best performing currencies, appreciating by approximately 16% against the US dollar and contributing to a decline in inflation to 21.2% in April. Let me skip and go down. Kakra. It says this phenomenon is not without historical precedent. Ghana's economic history reveals several instances where the currency appreciation failed to translate into immediate consumer benefits. Understanding both the current drivers of the cedi strength and this historical parallels provides crucial insights for policymakers seeking to convert microeconomic gains into tangible improvement in citizens' life. Now, the question we are asking today, there is more, but this is just a brief of what I have here now. At least Obia Utibiano should get an idea of whatever that is going on. According to some of the people, they were like, yeah, at least the ex-president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, that is the vice, did some groundwork which did not actually translate Amber life. So they just did what they would have to do. And after NDC, that is when everything has started making sense. I appreciate it. Another school of thought is saying that we have a trade war going on, and because of that, and the cedi has gained strength, and with the current law passing about gold, iron core outside, and everything that has to be bought by the government. Again, there's a whole lot of things going on. But my guest will have today to help me understand whatever that is going on. Now, the question to you guys is, who takes the credit? Is it the NDC or is the NPP? I would like to move straight to Mr. Wadud Kudima, communication team member in Germany for the NPP. Now, you go straight to the point. Mr. Wadud.
Of course, I would greet your listeners and cherished viewers again. This whole issue as to who takes the credit for the sudden development we are seeing in our economy, I think it's a very broad question. But one thing that I must confirm, that I've never disputed anywhere, is that the government of the day, the government in part, whenever there are changes, as to whether positive or negative, we have to give them their full responsibility, because at the end of the day, they are in power or they are in government. But when someone says the Ghanaian economy is doing well, right, there are a lot of factors we should look at. We can all attest to the fact that the cedi has been appreciating steadily against the US dollar. And like you earlier said, my brother, there are some factors that are contributing to the appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar. You mentioned the trade war. We can do, that's very obvious. It's not just Ghana alone. Several countries, local currencies are gaining strength against the US dollar. Secondly, we can also look at the fact that there has been some measures put in place by the previous administration that is actually yielding results now. And the communicators of the NDC have deliberately decided to debunk this fact. And therefore, it is our duty today to enlighten Ghanaians and to let them understand that whatever they are facing today was as a result of good, well thought out policies that the Nana Akufo-Addo administration kept in place before losing the December 2024 elections. Now, one might ask, what are some of these policies? If you can remember, in 2021, led by Dr. Allison and the then government, which is the NPP government, and Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, introduced the domestic gold purchasing program, right? And under this program, we had the gold for oil policy. Now, my brother, let me state a few facts that is out there for everyone to go and verify, right? Since independence till 2023, our gold reserves as a nation was about 3.1 tons of gold. About 3.1. And let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. The president of the day came out to clearly state that one of the factors that is affecting the appreciation of the cedis is the fact that we are now boosting our local currency with our gold reserves. He made that statement, and Felix Fusukwache, information minister, also came out to make very similar arguments. So now, if since 2023, our gold reserves was around 8.7 tons. Please, I want to just make this very clear. It was a mistake of Salzburg. It was around 8.7 tons to December 2023. And before we left office, due to the introduction of the gold for oil policy and the gold purchasing program, we were able to raise our gold reserves to about 30.5 tons. We have decided that it was time for Ghana as a country to back our local currency with gold. And that is where we gave birth to this particular program, the gold purchasing program, whereby the gold for oil was only a subset of this program that we launched. And if you look at it, that is about 100+ increment in our reserves within the shortest possible time after we launched this program. So if today, as I'm talking to you now, our gold reserve, I have the figures here, our gold reserve is now barely 31 tons, meaning the NDC coming into office, it's been 4 or 5 months now, have only been able to contribute about 0.8 tons of gold to our reserves. And so therefore, if we are confirming that the strengthening of the cedi is due to Ghana backing its currency without gold reserves, who then do the credit to, my brother? We can clearly see who did the work, who kept in the work, who brought in the well-thought-out policies to drive the economy in that direction. That is just one. Secondly, this government only read its budget, I think, 3 months ago. Right, that was in March. If you look at it, local governance, our municipal chief executives, there have not been any allocation of funds under their allocated budgets. The government of the day has not yet begun spending. And therefore, the pressure on the dollar has been eased a bit. The demand for dollar currently in Ghana is not as high. And when the demand is low, we'll have a lot of dollar circulating in the system. And therefore, the value of the dollar against the US dollar, against the Ghana cedis, we can see some appreciation. This is just simple economics that every single individual understands. And so therefore, I've been able to mention just three main reasons why we are seeing a steady appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar, which I earlier mentioned: the trade war, the fact that the NPP government started an initiative to back our local currency with gold. It's yielding positive results currently. And then thirdly, the government has not begun actually spending. These are some of the reasons that have contributed to the appreciation of the cedis against the US dollar. There is no magic. There is no single policy introduced under this administration that has steered or resulted in the cedi's appreciation against the US dollar. You can ask my brother in the studio right now to mention one single policy the NDC has introduced that is resulting to the cedi appreciation against the US dollar, my brother.
Mr. Wadud, so you guys did all the work. How come these things did not translate? It was not reflecting in the economy.
That is what I'm saying. What we intended to do, the gold purchasing program, we knew was not going to yield immediate results. It was not a short-term program. We looked at a long-term program. We looked at a long-term influence. We looked at a long-term effect on the Ghanaian economy. You're getting what I'm saying?
And envisage 8 years to make sure that this thing, comes to life.
Yes, but my brother, if the government of the day is telling you, the Ghanaian, that the reason why the cedi is appreciating steadily against the US dollar is as a result of our cedis being backed by our local reserves in gold. That is what the government of this has been telling you as a citizen. And so therefore, it is only wise for you to ask the question, what is our gold reserves? What has changed in our gold reserves? What was our gold reserve before this particular government, the previous administration came into office or took office? And like I said, it's around 8 tons. And we left office about 30.1 tons of gold. And so therefore, if we are telling you today that the reason why there's a steady appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar is as a result of our gold reserves, who then do you give the credit to? There are policies that a government will sit and plot out, implement, but its results will be felt in the long run, in the long-term project. And so therefore, you can't say because during our period, it didn't really translate, and so therefore, we didn't play a vital role. We have been able to contribute the largest amount of gold in our gold reserves as a government. My brother.
Okay.
So
I believe someone will share and will join us with their contributions, suggestions, or maybe any comments at all on Facebook. And I'm still reminding them that we are also live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and all the affiliate channels and so on. I would like to move straight to Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, this is what we are saying. And the question is, who then takes the credit? You have been in office for, not even half a year. But then, do you also accept the fact from your colleague in the studio that most of the work now, what we're experiencing now is as a result of work at NPP?
My brother, thank you for the opportunity once again.
Mr. Bennett.
And, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you once again, and my greetings to our viewers and our listeners across the world, particularly those who are listening to us or watching us back home in Ghana. Let me admit to the fact that my brother has really done a good job by admitting that the gains that we've made so far cannot be entirely taken away from the government. Again, given the fact that the NPP claims to have done quite a lot of job whilst they were in the office, it is, however, very important for us to state clearly that the gains we're seeing currently is as a result of some of the policies we've put in place. Not just policies, but decisions taken by this government to make sure that we strengthen the Ghanaian economy and also strengthen the city as well. And most times you hear people ask, or particularly those in the NPP ask, what single policy has the government introduced to actually cause the city to appreciate, like how it has been in the last few months? It is actually unfortunate for people to actually ask that question. I mean, for the government to decide not to spend at all is actually a policy. It's a policy in itself. So for me and those of us from the NDC, we believe clearly and very well that the gains we've seen so far is as a result of the commitment we've put into making sure that the Ghanaian economy survives and we sustain economic growth in our country. My brother made mention of
Bennett. I think Mr. Bennett Ahumano at na if Mr. Wadu Honoma.
Yes,
the question I'm person.
Yeah.
The time more the NDC NPP move free office. As at the time I move free office,
yeah,
I realized that dollar no was true.
That's very true.
But before mobile power crown, we saw some of the comments. President Nana Addo Dankwa about making as to dollar no ni sidino, and you will be before Mahama will also leave power no dollar no, and a baby amodia no be die before Musumbe kon be die. Some of these things, when you look at it, you feel it's a good job, Anna.
Unya, concerning the appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar, no, this is not the first time we're experiencing such a sharp rise or appreciation of the cedi against the dollar.
For the purposes of the locals, for the purposes of the locals now, Moshe no can beat me because this is the
okay.
Local
that's true. Mokai last year around March, now the cedi was selling for around 12 cedis against the dollar. What you say? We've been there before. We've seen instances where the cedi has sharply appreciated or gained strength against the US dollar. And America said, we as a government at some point decided to introduce the gold purchasing program because the NPP is the only and remains the only policy credible political party in Ghana. The gold purchasing program.
saw anything.
Yeah, because obviously we've been able to see that Yabano social interventive programs in Ghana, we have been the government that's introduced all of them. Basically, the most popular, the most effective social interventive policies in Ghana, no, as a government, no, introduced them. In Jamaica, you see, what we were facing was a very weak local currency against the dollar. And then sometimes we get a sharp appreciation, it drops back, it depreciates again. It took Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia and the then Dr. Addison, Bank of Ghana, on the current NPP government, the previous NPP government, to introduce this policy and decided to say, oh, this year no, you don't go the biana, ne a dollar, ne dia bagana. But in the long run, no, say local and foreign investors no make use of this dollar now, then there's a shortage of dollar in the system again. And in the long run, the cedi depreciates against the dollar. And one thing you should understand is that why does the UK has the strongest currency? Why is pounds very strong? The pounds is very strong because it is backed by a very huge gold reserve. Into what that does is, if your currency is backed by a very large amount or substantial amount of gold, anyone trading with you is very confident in terms of whatever might go wrong. There could be natural disasters, there could be businesses gone wrong. You have the confidence that this particular currency or this particular government that I'm trading with has something to lean on. It gives investor confidence to whatever country that we are talking about here in this situation. Into investing in our gold reserves, it's not just for the appreciation of the cedi. It brings about investor confidence in people that hope to invest in our country. So into Osha, the decision for the government to invest in our gold reserves has been very significant and effective in our local currency. If you put in a policy in place, do not expect for direct effect to take place. Sometimes these policies need time to grow. It is a long-term perspective project. And so therefore, if we are yielding and we are seeing results today, the NDC, who has barely been in office for 6 months, should not come out and start claiming that they are the reason why the cedis are appreciated against the US dollar, when they themselves cannot single-handedly mention one policy that they have brought in place that has resulted this or has yielded this result. And like I said, I mentioned that the government of the day currently is not spending. And he said not spending is also a policy. I give him that credit. But can you tell me that the reason that the cedi is appreciating against the US dollar is simply because the NDC is not spending? Is that enough reason? Yes, largely. And America said, we can't take it away from the NDC that Bibia in Sheshena idea, like everything we put in place is currently yielding results and they're in government. And one thing that I always like to abide by is whatever transpires in a country should be the sole responsibility of the sitting government. And so therefore, I'm not seeking to take credit away from the NDC. But what I'm seeking to do is to enlighten Ghanaians and make them aware that everything they're enjoying is as a result of a well thought out policy put in place by the then Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia and Dr. Addison, the Bank of Ghana, to bring about the gold purchasing program. And the gold for oil is only a subset of this program. And so if today we are seeing a steady appreciation of the cedi, we should give thanks and also give appreciation to the past government. That is all I'm seeking to tell Ghanaians.
Okay. Yesterday, Mr. Bennett, but then my main comments kakra me and to that this is one we need a free brafi. Their brafi can okay, Mr. Yado, I join here. Thank you so much, sir. What I was saying in your prayer, join here. Earlier, now we'll make a point, so I want you to at least for the purposes of the locals, no patio. Yeah, this is the we know a cheap program. It's young can be anti now.
All right. Thank you, Minya. Now, me Kasan say omeki some very wild, submissions. Me pese me rebutted to those submissions. So
few minutes.
Yes, all can say a gold reserves are omoko omuje eto homa ye no. And on abuama city no ahoden no adrum pempenso adrum na ebi gold purchase program na gold for oil a part of it na and their reporter about say a car yabo gold for oil program no kwa hono about $1.7 billion and then a car in 2024, Abaya or free so ejato hono in all in the name of gold for oil. And a car net at that hono. Now, many, the biggest problem I away your country no it's not about gold reserve. It's about dollar liquidity. Say dollar do you war or minimum. Yen say yamano a net importer. Ye crack a normal baby free. I'm a neighbor or minimum. And so as a result of that, every time the Kamea say CD no HC dollar, I could pay the half panoma. In the basa, just a matter of demand and supply, any inflation. If there's a lot of demand, now say supply no one more, obviously price ever cost, and that was the case. And so every time Ghana for base year caught a jam has about money. Yes, ye $1 de akofa sano mano na $1 no akwatwe na $1 no bo akosoro enti ye ba end the first thing here and say even though the gold reserve no I was stroke akra na me ye adwen say ye mfa ye ntu ye no so gold na ye to domestically ye nya no ye mfa konko farmers no ye ayen koton na ye mfa sika no mra me support yen city no enti it is one thing to have enough gold reserve. And it's another to have enough dollar liquidity or minimum. And the latter, and I think said Obi Biara or follow Ghana economy said the biggest problem I owe minimum panel. I say ye $1 at the normal farmers so say drama so na ye bi na enunti dollar na ho de no akosoro against in city no. Enti sa na mo aye tu say gold ye two ye man titri free artisanal miners no hono abane be aggregating na ye hakoton na the size kana ba be support yen city no sad decision no na ama yen sika no mu ayidu. So there's a clear distinction between having enough gold reserve and having enough dollar in the system to cushion your economy. That is exactly what, and the latter is exactly what we've done. And he said NPP for Tanaba Bika Ghana for say gold reserve or jato or mayeno. And then it is not entirely true. It is not entirely true. Yeah, a policy position. I take it say a buyer no buyer the sole buyer of gold at every artisanal miners and on the mobile. Not yet they are called a drama so and also become poor mining so also be to be. It's a foreign person or to gold. Every Ghana mam cotton by Bia. Sign up also or told through the government. Sana mona ye to know yura Samijan Fidanoa. A gold board no sana mono ye 2 year na ama confidence about yen sika anymore and na ama confidence about yen economy anymore. And so quite preposterous say NPP for every time by the catcher or more achita for say na say Ghana for say omo gold omo ebi gu o man and na abome yen city na anya hoden. Now most times you hear people say on our question say policy banner NDC buy the aba and unti ama yen economy na nya hode ne nsidi no anya hode. To the ordinary NPP member no, and I say person no, when it comes to policy, a policy should have a name. Say ode utu abanu tu anamobi na say abana name that anamona, it is not a policy. It is not a policy. And about naming of policies there and NPP for ya there pa. Now many will do the kasana can say you can't party back akunya so omode policies ba magana for water woman na say omode policies akase ba e womo na NDC there sebi ye mfa bi ma na menua ye nanim say ye say ye mfa nkane ankonkron kitwa nkitinkiti mu no NDC for na chase ama ene Ghana 80% of Ghanaians have access to electricity thanks to a policy taken by the NDC and I do some pempers where agree and then the whole of Africa. And so we Egypt now is South Africa, Ghana now in terms of power supply. I just say you can have some actually Ghana need your war across a most likely say can never do so. This our policy nearby. Your friend rural electrification program. The buyer. The projects will be about chips compound. The very about sanitary party. They but not policies. But you a deal to so. And according to the NPP, all the policy balance one for the answer to say your friend and your policy. And to me, Sana Mona and then San Samana, NPP for all the time say, since you ever found 5 months, you have policy be my by incident appreciate it, and the credit me and for credit and my NDC, and I say I buy on a debia, sebi, you do too much, because Ghana phone and I'm more year too. And again, we've always said, government is the leader of society, and government should instill confidence in the economy. And every decision taken by government can either repel investment or attract investment. And also the policy position of the of the government clearly policies are, and I say I'm more here to say about attracting investment into the economy. And so there are a lot of people who are having confidence in the economy and bringing lots of money into it. And so and there were companies that they moved their plants and offices from Accra to Cote d'Ivoire and Benin. But
as a result of I think previous administration, economy in Cheddar and stable. And I realized that there was a Russia-Ukraine war and now Biaka affected the economy and also count my investors will be 8 to 2 or more. Can you say that is also a factor?
Ukraine Russia war na chassis na Cote d'Ivoire for no more. Companies are more promote free Ghana Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire so they were part of the global economy. And then and they also suffered a bit of it. And any reason here my companies free Ghana. Now your policies are banned at the buyer. Taxes are a could be woo. Any policies are so that make or they buy and support businesses. She said in the new Ghana you could do ye. So we invest and we invest in economy no more. So what it 10,000 citizens, $10,000 per share or minimum. That's a restaurant sources that says can acquire. Or the back we see can hold in form. And so investors lost confidence in the economy. Investors lost confidence in the economy. And that is what we are restoring. We are restoring confidence in the economy and restoring confidence in the city. And every decision I take, right from the Ministry of Finance to the Reserve Bank and to the executive, the office of the president, we all think in terms of the direction you take to cushion the economy and to cushion the city. And I'm more here to be. I mean, we have implemented austerity measures. Some ministries go on manaka banner bomuka. You scrapping those ministries. I mean, many Kasanoka say, I'm saying spend it. And I mean, of course, you say contractors will more in Moka. The reason why in Moka, say, a more, no more you choose certificates of completion. Yeah, any legitimate. And you also have take time. Now, what you should say, I do additional Montana Maya as a bit of Moka. But I know completely. You say nurses need teachers allowances and now down for 6 months. You buy you need a form. That is a huge amount of money you are spending on hormone. You say a school feeding program. You buy a child say they support to program. It is kind of you know, sanitary part program. It is kind of and to say amount focus and spend there. It is not entirely true. Yes, spend it, but there's discipline in terms of spending, and that is what is put cushioning the city.
Okay. Mr. Bennett, we make you point in clear. Now, the made was so, and I may be so, any gonna point now, be or share behind say, see, I know we enjoy some sort of stability of economy, a bet was. That is the question to you. I will come back. But I perceive me really a little comment to be a minyaye. This one is coming from Braf. You say everything clearly shows that good governance of the day is doing a good job. It surprises me that the NPP wants to be credited for the change happening in the economy recovery after the hardship they put us through in their 8 years of governance. This we need Fibra Honor. And this one is from Abiduma. So I'm going to say, well, personally, I don't really know much about politics, but whoever that is in charge is doing very well. If we frame or say the NDC government clearly deserves credit, the sharp economic recovery and the steady stability. Yes, we can equally say the NPP might have played a role, but without physical discipline, financial management and rigorous setting of the gold board, it would have failed and go into the drains. Why is the NPP running away from the current energy or power crisis? And the question no can say now NPP taking credit for a Juma year to make sure that the economy no be back and strong. Now that one the omoji credit, but about the energy crisis, power crisis. Now then NPP for Nijanin say money she na no count. And no. But gentlemen, because of your time, you know, me per se you moving on to the next topic. You leave the rest for Ghanaians to decide and judge. Now the next topic, you know, it says arrest and prosecution of former government appointees, a sign of fighting corruption. America na initia the so I think enche bia na yokufo ekofa yefa untumi yeja na yokufo so kofa no. Now Honorable Ken, former finance minister, and so he declared wanted. Siano yesterday in Kasa Umbrana be in yesterday in the health into you ni anymore. But maybe sir now let's start it from Wadud. The air person. Is it a way of fighting corruption and as a personal attack?
Yeah,
Lawrence,
first of all, I think one thing I have to, say obviously is that retaliation politics and for me personally, I do not think that Ghana is a fight against corruption. Ghana, maybe your constitution. We have our rules and regulations. We have our judicial system. And if the government of the day feels someone has abused power or has caused financial loss to the state, there are ways, obviously, that the government could take to deal with such issues or such instances. But what we have our judicial system. We have a special prosecutor. We have people the government of the day could actually engage. The special prosecutor was appointed into office to tackle these kind of issues, to tackle corruption, mainly from people in government and political appointees. And so therefore, if you're in power today and you feel someone has abused power, someone has caused financial loss to the state, someone has looted, there's obviously a right channel to go about it. I'm not saying Iyoko inviting Chairman Wontumi is wrong. But what I'm saying is, if you critically look at the manner in which he was mishandled, if you look at the days he was locked up, if you look at the yes, Osha bond or Mudi see so bond or Mudi see or say Chairman Wontumi etia, then the lawyers etia and say free mono. You can see that this was just political targeting. This was retaliation politics. There are people in NDC or Mufri say, we treated them unfairly. And so therefore they are also having the chance and they want to retaliate.
Now, what do we issue unfairly? Now, purchasing because there are several cases that charging say what contracts being there are and now he's out of power. And the personal attack be because of said they are not NDC if free by muda and now more by said the year moving Tiana Musmes and so Casana say.
If you assume and now claim say Ubi are misappropriated state funds and now say Ubi are involving himself in, I mean, like they said, money laundering and that's a way to go about prosecuting that person. You know, until a court of competent jurisdiction pronounces a judgment on this fellow, you should treat him fairly and with some respect. On your own Rambo style or more the arrestee wound to me now. As a Ghanaian, you should feel sad for our country. And
that's already now I've told several times Awamba.
You see, Onya, but you have to understand the instances. His lawyers were engaging. His lawyers were responding to letters that were sent directly to Wontumi. But on one eyewitness account, more present. Abra state security, national security personnel ever arrested Wontumi no. Explaining their ordeal and you know, Unia, if you're a Ghanaian, you should feel sad for the way he was treated. Minka said we should encourage bribery and corruption in our country. This is something that every single Ghanaian, every 1 million Ghanaians should frown upon. We should condone this activity. And it's also very nice that when a new government comes in place, previous government of our appointees or people in power who have misused public funds should be brought to book. This is something that I 100% and solely support. But there's always a way to go about this. If you should believe in our justice system and understand that a person or a citizen of Ghana is innocent until proven guilty, there's a way you treat them with respect and accord them the necessary respect. But in Wontumi's case, we were even told that he was locked up for 3 days and there was no mattress for him to sleep on at the EOCO offices over there. And so, when you're Ghanaians or veterans and you encourage these things, and now ABI and NPP now face these issues. Tomorrow could be the NDC. And like I earlier said, retaliation politics, we don't need it. The same thing happened in the US. Donald Trump is trying to strip Joe Biden of some media briefing because he felt when he was taken out of office, he was treated that same way. At the end of the day, who does it help? Why not benefiting from this kind of actions or reactions? In America, I do not think the NDC primary aim is to fight corruption and deal with people who have been corrupt in the previous government. No, that's not what I'm seeming or aiming to do. They are targeting individuals of the NPP or members of the New Patriotic Party just to cripple and frustrate them. And that is what the NDC has seek to do. Imagine, look at the vice president, former vice president of our republic, went to the EOCO office to visit Wontumi. He was denied access. The disrespect, the disregard for his service to our nation. Well, now, if you look at it, now guys say you are fighting corruption now. Cases before this, the special prosecutor for more than 2 years now. Rambo arrest
I think there are certain instances, baby, one man, for instance, Honorable Ken Krano, they invited our own by his Ushema, and you think I be free of mine, even at this time, and but he's only around this year. When national security nya access na omukofana ana yoko nya access na omukofana open treatment ben and kan fam ana yemfa ne thing
Onya, he could have been invited.
Did you know issues be stay in the back? I wouldn't say be here you get also make yourself
if you should arrest a Ghanaian and put a 50 million Ghana cedis bail, how is it supposed to come out with this figure? A public figure. I mean, bro, Onya, you see the way our NDC for any
with chairman there no the charges no selling no make no I'm saying here they are in account and every charge be on no it comes with amount be is so much with issue of galamsey like this. Hello with issue of galamsey like this. Recently, me Kosra will be our company bimo and as someone no catch me say in sugar sometimes some production because producing sugar drinks and they are not even getting water to produce. And I believe say
no, girl, I'm saying
the money the number of times and nanka I transfer to me no.
Onya, I think what the NDC,
I wouldn't be the one maybe defending. I will leave it for Ghanaians to decide.
What I'm saying is, what the NDC to do is to use Wontumi as a scapegoat for their incompetence. I would say. But then you see, you have not been able to establish any fact that he's engaged in Galamsey in any way or form. You've charged him. I mean, if you allege, one who alleges must prove. Only Omoka said
Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, I'll remember 2 minutes to rebut before I close. Mr. Bennett one Mr. Bennett. According to Wadu, you know, I think almost the client can person will be from where you sit, punishing, arrest and time costing, and a question and study yet to supreme penny for and government appointees and I say, ye say, be bintino, I think I'm run to me, a triumobana in Missa, a crime banner and found person. And I dear Momo Yano, who feels the attack and I'm rapine so no. Say, oh, my canoe off if wait me, I check him out. Yes, it's still
Minia, say, yeah, campaign, na yabe about 2024. Adeɛ baako a na asɛm baako a Yɛwura Dwumani Mahama kaeɛ na mpo ɛbɛyɛ yɛn campaign slogan ɛne yɛ campaign message ɛne sɛ yɛbɛ reset our country. Yɛka sɛ yɛbɛ reset Ghana, yɛsɛ yɛbɛ reset Ghana economically, politically and socially. And yɛbaeɛ yɛnam nto a yɛtu nyinaa kyerɛ sɛ ampa yɛpɛ sɛ reset yɛn economy no. Na me nua Wadudu kasa na wɔse kamea yɛ sɛ asɛ yɛ targeti ebinmo because you want to say abra na your war position no NPP 4 year no ma bia na honte etia yenti so yeah retaliate. I mean it's far from that. It is way far from that. I mean ye nyina be kaya ye Yɛwura Dwumani Mahama nembre edi kan the first time no on one yonko anu asaye NPP NDC MP aye Owura Bugapeli also na patch no kogina court ama ewie and they no tum female san actually. Onwa ni former employee aye Victoria Hammer ekodi nkomo etra adam be private nkomo etra adam be say the reason ti all politics no so wonya $1 million obedient politics eno ho nti Yɛwura Dwumani Mahama ehye no man resign efiri na bam enti ade a ye sisi ye na nya ade a say ye target obi if say ye ho kwaye de di ho. Now, there is a motive behind and a move to, especially in the fight against corruption. Yen say Ghana more or less a two-party state. Said Biano, even if it may take it 25 years to 30 years, for NPP Weber. Into the NDC in Senya Dea some bomb baby. Name of the Yɛwura Dwumani Mahama Ayano. Or yes, a example that show one Casana appointees see or no more Jumana say. There may yes see Sana that be. Say me ni ho anase mu ni ho na mo call positioner na mo anto mu no mo ya ebetomo. And that is the kind of template or person or set the tool at the man. I mean otie chema Wontumi abra ye ba be fa no and I say your friend or kasa videos na say Ghana for mo sorry o sa kasa na o kan na kire say abra na o ye nyambra nsem di tia Ghana man no na adwen nyane say yen Ghana de BBC a ye the politics ebe deflate no. Enti na manenya de opebia na do time say NPP ko position as aban for bana ye pursue na obaka say politics nti na ye ne saa na wonya the party folks am all be defending no. And that is exactly cause CCA menua Wadudu kasa na wo say there is no evidence I established against one to me. Me no me no na charge sheet ye de abo chairman no yen sanka bi. Nemom evidence ewo abonte ye nyina hu kakra. Eye anyambransem ne awudisem awudi ti ye man no. Oko Western region baby a de man say on tu sika hokọ no. Chairman etimi ye sika hokọ na adwuma no ma ensu a da ho no mo an enka esebi communities around nyina no. Chairman say ensu ni nyina. You don't need a court so be establish a fact against chairman with regards to this. And so one who say and Paul saying so. Ye nyina hu journalist Erastus Asare ne ya oye documentary oye ye the damning effect of Glamsey as a result of chairman chairman to me adwuma wodi anya wo yen environment ne so ye nyina nim say wakoje bosia every Exim Bank over $10 million eso the wakoye fu. And I don't really understand how and why a Ghanaian farmer eso or $10 million. I mean $10 million at the wakoye farming. Also wakodo abrufu. Or did the contract even when they were in government, there were party members, party executives in the Ashanti regional. They organized a press conference against Chairman to me and accused him of taking contracts and not fulfilling his obligations. So I mean all these facts are there. All these facts are there. We are just waiting for Iyoko. Now establish prima facie evidence against Chairman to me. I mean, some of us have got a keen interest in Chairman to me case now. And for the first time, actually a politician. Now both sex, NPP, NDC. Don't know to say, and the boy actually need you didn't check. I know key NPP members they were in support of the arrest of Chairman to me because they could tell say some of his activities and then the actions and they lead you to opposition. I mean, see, if Ghana were to be a serious country, Chairman to me wouldn't be out this time. Chairman to me wouldn't be out this time. But because yama politics, any as a comradeship, yenimi home into the industry, all parliament, your control of could be into the industry, some of one say yamano. And some of us, you better say you were money, mama, a bit changing, shift, I mean, me was South Africa and was CA. There was a time where Jacob Zuma, was president of the Republic of South Africa. On one appointee, the public protector, Ghana, Yatuni be the special prosecutor. I can say, you were Jacob Zuma, I didn't sabo or man put home, and a year over $1 million. At the Hako upgrading the house on one private residence. I want seeking parliamentary approval. Sadi and Inti. Special protector, SN said, only second back to the state. Abra not only second be the whole, next or African Bank, we send the back to the state. And OVN or start sending back to the Constitutional Court. Ghana Supreme Court. Emma Supreme Court Judge, Chief Justice Mokomo Quinn. He was appointed by Jacob Zuma. Papa Kunyama can say, you acquired Jacob Zuma pass who a first can acquire the fee, one passo. And so we're breaching the oath of office. And no name so Jacob Zuma now say or resign as president. Or resign actually Jacob Zuma for them 3 months. A former president. For them 3 months for misdemeanor. We need to reset our country. We need to reset our country. Maybe I may catch them. Me now for more money appointment. Our bank will say, do your work diligently, because I would not sit on radio or on TV and defend you when the time comes. Especially when there's prima facie evidence against your actions. I would not sit on radio or anywhere to defend you. And I'm sending a strong warning to our appointees that they should be committed to the cause of Ghana. They should be committed, because whatever they're doing, I mean, Okoto in Sompa, keep a receipt. And I keep telling this. Okoto in So as an executive, or as an appointee of this government, or representing Abayana, in the name of government, keep a receipt. Because a time is coming, you'll be held accountable. And the air some of us, we even want more to happen. NSS. The SC National Cathedral. Of course, the arrest it is not proportionate to what we expected. And we want some more. We want some more. A lot of harm, financial crimes were committed against our country and our people.
Thank you.
Say a time that person is held accountable. And instead of whoever is serving in this government, should serve with dignity, so that when the time comes for him to defend himself, he will obey evidence, documentary evidence, be protecting and be defending. That is what we are seeking to do, and that is what the Yoruba Mama. That is a strong warning. I was sending a man and call for and say, they may get the if it happens to you, I will go after you.
Mr. Yadom,
and I want everybody to support.
Mr. Yadom, me question and misunderstanding direct attacker. How come say Abra you want to me if we you releasing from Yukono na I don't to me Nantina that they means I and Ubia critical thinker now observe will tell you say the and I said a man react after say releasing the chain say there was never be a na inchai and a pen attack directly. But we'll leave it for Ghanaians to talk. I want to because we Ferdinand Ellis was a very enlightened young man. That's the great show. Ninette Mouse have been to my Kalu and my sister Rebecca Hassler also are joining from the UK. So Italy or Chile. Mr. Peter Hassler also are joining and Stella Bryant, and also she's live watching us from UK. I would want to give you guys one minute to wrap up because another time you delay to wrap up and we no meko we on meko wadu do hono. We are wrapping up our show because of our time. And Mr. Wadu, remember just 1 minute to make point in
Thank you so much, Unia. Before I start my submission now, I think our brother made mention of prima facie, and I just want to assure the entire NDC government today, whatever is currently going on in this administration, if at the end of the day, a court or a jury of competent jurisdiction should establish the fact of the Wontumi case and is either prosecuted or acquitted of his charges, we shall take it as precedence for subsequent NPP government. We are watching keenly into this matter and the way our members are being mishandled and manhandled. And so therefore, whatever is happening right now is actually going to serve as a precedence, like I said. Now, he made mention of the fact that the NDC have decided, or might decide to say, mobile reset to the nation, I think physically, spiritually, and I think, did he say emotionally or something like that? My brother Bennett can actually enlighten me on that. But then clearly, we all can see, NDC for now, they light their way into office. So we share Nyama air courses here within the first 3 months, you can clearly see.
But they are light their way into office and not then our party because Ghana for
yes, if you look at promises during the campaign periods, the deception, the Ghanaian economy and nyama government na better no. That's not what we are currently seeing. They promised the lean government to reduce government expenditure. These are some of the things they promised us. They promised the Women Development Bank. They promised you were going to.
But which one is Ghana for Ghana
for that is the first 3 months. Clearly, very, very vigilant. You to me who the loopholes already in this government. Women Development Bank, I'm promising If you look at the direction in which it is going now, very, very appalling. Omoka said they would scrape, the emission tax, the betting tax, the e-levy taxes to ease the burden on ordinary Ghanaians. And they promised that they are a government that can generate revenue without taxing the ordinary Ghanaian. That's not what we are seeing today. So if you look at this issue of a lean government, Ghanaians still don't want to answer. Say because for the fact say appointed less than 60 ministers, they've been able to establish a lean government. That is not the case. We could say the NDC have formed a lean executive, but not a lean government. Osha presidential staffers are NDC for and John Dramani Mahama appointed the office of the president. My brother, you would cry as a Ghanaian. Let me just give you a few of figures that I have here. Now we share the office of government machinery. For instance, under the NPP government, we had 8 agencies. We had 8 agencies. Our budget for the entire 8 agencies under the government machinery, 327 million Ghana cedis a year. So we had a very huge government, and we are overspending. We need to cut down the cost of governance and all that. The current NDC government, with less than 60 ministers, my brother, they've been able to reduce the number of agencies under the government machinery to about only 4 agencies. Now, make up budget 4 agencies we ever work with her. You'll be surprised and you'll cry for our country. Just the 4 agencies under the government machinery. These 4 agencies under the government machinery, their budget alone is 2.7 billion Ghana cedis a year. Women Development Bank asema mekai. Sika here omodia to seed money. Bro, 50 million Ghana cedis. And in Ghana, after the recapitalization, you need about 400 million Ghana cedis to open a bank. The NDC government have been able to allocate 40 million Ghana cedis to the Women Development Bank. And finance, microfinance, and local bank, a state bank, 40 million Ghana cedis which we allocate for that particular project. This issue of Doomsday levy, I'm sure, sir, what we call robbing Peter to pay Paul on the NDC 4 year. When we're taking 1% for e-levy, today, per liter of petrol or diesel or its related products, Ghanaian bet you 1 cedi per liter. This same government, under e-levy number buy, they chastised the government. They vehemently rejected the e-levy, saying it was going to increase the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian. If you should go and purchase a liter of petrol or diesel, you're there to pay 1 Ghana cedis. Let me put into perspective for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand. When the e-levy was, in circulation, and when it was in existence, if you should send someone 1,000 Ghana cedis, 1% in air 10 cedis. And then
I believe so we make you a point.
You see, let me land for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand. Let me just wrap this up. And then so we took 1,000 Ghana cedis worth of petrol. We bet you almost 44 Ghana cedis as taxes. And then you want in Kwao, okay, in March, I'm already on budget share Ghana. They introduced 90 pesos value taxes on petroleum products. In the NMNO, if you should purchase a petrol for every liter, bet you almost 2 Ghana cedis. This is the country. This is the resetting agenda John Dramani Mahama preached into office. So you see, we that are very vigilant have already seen the loopholes. We've told Ghanaians countless times.
We're exceeding 1 minute already. We're exceeding 1 minute already. This one is when free. When if we question, Ghanaians are happy with the current government. Of course, I think it's important to support the current government to better Ghana instead of throwing punches. This is not healthy. Okay, I have to read, but then it's just watching from Pong, if you say or share live from Akusinia, so many good job. Yeah, that's it. Mr. Peter. Say 1 minute, but Mr. Peter said we make you 1 minute to credit. Watching from Lisbon, Portugal. Welcome to the state. Okay, B. Mamenko watching from the UK, Mr. Peter Hasler, watching from Kent, UK. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. This was a greeting from Tatale, Northern Ghana, and Sakina Information Center. Listeners. Okay, yeah, that must be great. Robert Kimpe. He says, watching from Paris, France, NPP only came to mess up the economy. In America, we some of viewers in the day, but we say NDC Diaspora Union say the credit goes to the NDC government who have kept faith with the people of Ghana watching from Amsterdam, Holland. We a comment among for issue or anybody Mr. watching from Bezos Villa, Cape Ghana. But let me go straight. Mamenko as I'm is watching and listening from Achim Himai in the eastern region. That's the Mr. Bennett on wrap up, mommy.
Yo, Minia, I'm saying Minia about do the Kasabe for about 5 minutes, if no more than that. And to make over 4 minutes. Now,
1 minute. Yeah,
okay. Make Kasa Afanom, you know, largely tax, energy sector levy abasi here, you know. Any economy now, and I say promises you make here or say you lie ourselves into office, you know. Minia, yeah, campaign no na yasema ye kan say Ghana for ewa huchirim enti Ghana for nto my name you move fees economic distress na yo Ghana for no. And now you buy inflation from January, inflation moved from 26% to just over 18%. In the chest, Ghana near or yeah, Juma or 1,000 cities, no. At least, na katua wajine, it move 10% there, or bet me there to baby. At least, sa economic distress na can't say be African force it be no. Into you allow yourselves to office. You buy petrol prices. Now a liter of petrol at a point 23 Ghana cedis, and then a liter of petrol less than 13 Ghana cedis. Meaning say about 13 Ghana cedis. 13 Ghana cedis and every petrol so a petrol bosso. Minia, you buy a boy say you see you buy you bet forming a lean government. A lean government you best scrapping some ministries. Now only say ministries in the bottom one. They were civil servants. Not yet to me empower some gongo. And so yes scrapping those ministries no. Abano absorb through the office of the president. In the office of the president, government machinery, no, Anna San Gopoina or Makatua, enam so. And Sasika or board didn't say 2 billion a far a buying and I say if you can see mono. And Yesica, you did train, a Sika, did charge my four. No, we a Juma under the scrap ministries now. Now, only civil servants are Yentimino Modino, Sanko Fonisika, and the father office of the president. Into a honor on just information. Or say a boss I say Ghana for your bayna, you need so. Minia, yeah, but as someone go for Macate and say a bar, say, nursing to near allowances, get to near allowances, you become. You buy arrears and now want me over 6 months. You buy in 6 months, no, you cheer arrears your own money, the amount of Bibiara. You buy a cassette, you bar. Ghana ya could be a high school. Not all university, as all training college, or Tinker University. Now, on here, that's all in the first year, no, a ban never found who can now. You buy near the Abba. Minia, you can say Ghana ya could be all questions and Numa, national apprenticeship program. You best so that any person. Now, you bought a medical judgment will be as I am a Sika, or they best set Najumase. You buy a policy, no, Yadiaba. One can a single policy, you buy ya, Yentimi, any Hujuma in less than 6 months. And there's and surprising. I said, okay, approval rating after 6 months are still over 70%. This is the first time a government after 6 months in office a public approval rating of over 70%. I just said a Juma in 6 months in Ghana for Adiatum. Abra Kufa the within the first month, now Kufa an approval rating up to about 52%. Ghana for annual pepe or pepe the amount a buying. If you say you were John Roman Mama, I demonstrated a clear sense of commitment and leadership to serve the people of this country. And the course are what they are to so now say a mabuno wa form say or no more juman or one no jumano. Minia, I'll make a cake.
na okan levy nasem another petrol do so levy amount for 2 dinasem menia se na okoto petrol 23 Ghana cedis take or leave yemfa say auto petrol at 16 Ghana cedis per liter and then auto 12 Ghana cedis I just say who save 4 Ghana cedis per liter yeah buy an auto petrol 1 liter who save 4 Ghana cedis 4 Ghana cedis and I will save it and I say do so a problem about a perennial problem and I will see a per coin befa so ye be do so dey free on mo enti tax here there by 1 cedi a liter of crude abato bia so no ye emphasize can supporting yen kan asem no say they be businesses a bit more thrive so we 1 cedi every 4 cities now what saving more so that you're still saving 3 Ghana cedis and it is not surprising to say truck drivers commercial drivers car drivers I say that tax now about the if you say no at a point no more a gallon of petrol over 100 Ghana cedis and then almost less than 60 Ghana cedis and almost less than 60 Ghana cedis and they don't have qualms. They don't have issues with tax na abano as long as the purpose in the tax na abano genuine. They the best of that purpose. And I mean, the South Carolina say Ghana for any idea mamuna ekosono. I mean, we speak to people every day. The general sense of happiness I want my to see FKK. We see foreigners commend the government. And only a dear Ghana for any aswa and in the say yeah, constitutional amendment. Near my original mama quine, no another term on count. If you saw your money,
Mr. Bennett,
as some would am I the best room of man so now Yenina will be asked Madrid, Madame Wasi.
Since the NDC government is beginning of the year, I have personally observed less children, youth, etc. traveling first class flights. I wonder what caused this changes. I'm right in thinking corruption is slowly being addressed. Okay, thank you so much. Being addressed. Yes, this is there now. NDT abayamba no youth near first class in Kwao. But Madam was joining here. Another one also says, Mr. Kudima, you are making a lot of sense, but it's not showing. Medasi, what would you better know? Maybe I will show you from Rara, from the northern region, Accra, Achem Hemai. Madam in Asamunya Breshe no Kremre on Ghana on Today Ghana News. Mediana and Nakufi Apini, or more many omudi Jumano, Mr. Bennett, Canadian the Diaspora Network, and Mr. Wadud Kudima, on also a communication team member, our Germany. Also, I'm a media chairman, Lawrence Apini, but with me from Nakufi Apini, and so major was so. Namia Duma next week Thursday, you be sign way 6 p.m. and then the move and chair time on any some few technical hitches being to me and starting. Nemo, Meda Abuafoni as producer, and me boss, Mr. Seth Adi. Meda was say, we are so supporting or share live now commenting, so that's to say, what do I do in Shabai? Namia Duma next week Thursday, you be saying share or no cremre. On today's Ghana News TV. There will be a crown.
Reported medical letter transmitted through his lawyers to the OSP did not state so or demonstrate so. The OSP is unconvinced that the purported medical letter transmitted by Mr. Oforiatta through his lawyers to the OSP represents a medical report to the effect that Mr.